Alright, so it looks like since over the weekend with the reveal of Sonic Forces, we've been getting some steady news from multiple gaming sources, and one big piece of news that suddenly came up is the inclusion of Sonic's friends in the game. Keep in mind that this came from Game Informer, a pretty credible site. Basically, they got a slightly longer demo than the trailer that we saw, and they go into detail with said demo. Where we saw the demo fade out is where Sonic apparently begins communicating with his friends over radio, Knuckles, Amy, and the Chaotix members in particular, as if they're reporting on what they're seeing. It is also confirmed that Sonic's friends are not playable, and we'll get to that bit in a quick sec. But anyway, the 3 character gameplays are officially confirmed by Sega now. We sort of already knew that last part from a few months ago, and I even did a discussion video on that news at said time, so definitely go check that out if you want my thoughts on these 3 gameplays. Anyway, back to Sonic's friends getting confirmed, but not being playable. To be completely honest, I like this move by Sega. I'd say it's the correct move for what feels like a soft reboot of the series. In a game like this where you're aiming to re-establish the identity of Sonic, the game has to be good and even be safe to a certain degree. Sega is very aware that we want a game that celebrates the wide variety of characters, but they're in a situation where building Sonic's reputation back up is the most important goal. So honestly, it may be some time before we get a game that celebrates Sonic's friends. Even though I feel like it'd be pretty easy to execute. Pretty much make it like a 3D classic game, where everyone plays fairly similar. Sorta like what Heroes was, but make it even more simple. I think that Sonic's friends showing up with a solid role in the plot is perfectly fine for now. I just think that they need to get a decent amount of screen time in this game. It should not be like Generations where most people return to the series and were confused by who is who over the radio during boss fights. We were never properly reintroduced to anyone besides the 2 entities of Sonic and Tails. With yet another reboot of Sonic, there needs to be proper introductions for characters, even if they aren't playable. So basically what I'm saying is, if you're in the plot, you deserve to be introduced to those interested in Sonic for the first time, as well as returning fans, so we're all on the same page on how these characters will behave in the future. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Sonic's friends joining the game Sonic Forces, and their role in the plot of the game. So let me know, do you want Sonic's friends playable in a game that focuses on plot like this? Or would you rather a more loose plot where you can play with them, and have it a more safer gameplay? Or do you prefer that they stay in the plot only? Feel free to share your opinions, I'll be sure to read them, and until then, peace out, y'all have a good night.